Thank God the Jets lost. Me and Joey were actually talking about this yesterday. How we sort of feel that Joey says to me yesterday, he's like, Dave, is it wrong that I want my Jets to lose? Is it wrong that I don't want them to win? And I looked at him, I'm like, no, it's not. This team does not deserve, the Jets do not deserve to be in the playoffs. They've shown nothing that makes anybody think that if they went there, they'd have an impact on the outcome of the playoffs.
Let's be honest, though. I mean, even if the Jets won last night, they were still a long shot to get in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, they needed big help.
They needed help. They needed other teams to lose. They needed, they needed a whole bunch of scenarios. And that's not make it seem like last night, if they won, they were in, because that's not the way it was. And I don't think Joey's wrong in saying that, in that particular circumstance, he would prefer his team maybe not win. But at the same respect, don't you always want your team to win? I want to know what's Joey's reasoning for wanting them to lose.
Because they suck.
Yeah, but does he, even if they suck, you still want them to win? Does he want a new coach? Does he want a new quarterback? What is the loss going to do for them other than maybe get them a pick higher?
Well, I think...
And who is in this draft that's so talented that the Jets feel like at this point in the season they're better off losing games because we can focus on trying to get this guy?
Well, I don't think the Jets per se are thinking that way, but I think Jets fans are hoping that this team can try to find some type of talent. Yeah, maybe get lucky and find that diamond in the rough guy. Maybe find that guy that you don't realize it at the moment, but really can turn into a starter for 10, 12 years.
Yeah, but who is that offensively? Because you're not going to get that out of a running back, because we all know running backs don't last past their 30. So maybe you get a running back that you get for 8 years. But Sean Green's not that bad a guy if you can get him a line in front of him.
So maybe that's what you need a high draft pick for. You get one of the better offensive linemen coming out.
You don't have to have a high draft pick to get a good offensive lineman. I mean, look at case in point, Robert Gallery from a few years ago, number 2 overall. And I don't even know if he may still be in the league somewhere, but he's not worthy of where he was picked. You could get good offensive linemen 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. There's no wide receiver out there this year that you can look at in the NCAA like you've looked at Crabtree in the past, like you've looked at Des Bryant in the past, like you've looked at Calvin Johnson. There isn't that number 1 receiver out there.
Justin Blackmon this past year.
Yeah. Who is the number 1 guy? Who are the Jets saying, all right, well, listen, if we lose a game or two, here's a guy that we could go into the draft saying we know we can improve our team if we get these couple of guys, these couple of guys.
I don't think it's about any specific one guy, though. The worse this team does it the rest of the year, if they can end up picking in the top half of every single round of the draft, then perhaps you're looking at maybe finding a couple guys that can contribute to this team. This team has no real talent anywhere. You put Revis and Holmes back on the
isn't going to guarantee you talent anywhere.
No, it's not, but winning games isn't going to guarantee you anything either. What's that? What if they go out? What if they went out there and won last night? What does that do for them as a team?
It at least keeps them mathematically in the playoff chances.
For what though? Why?
Giants were 9-7 last year and went on to win the championship. You just got to get hot at the right
time. The
Jets
have no right to be in the playoffs.
You can't say that.
Yes, I can.
If you win your games, no matter who you beat, if you win, you win. It doesn't matter how you win. It doesn't matter how ugly you look. A win is a win is a win. 20 years down the road, you're not going to remember this Jet season, but you'll remember whether or not they made the playoffs if you're a Jet fan. That's the point I'm trying to make, is the wins count for more down the road. They count for more overall. They count for more of everything.
Yeah, but for all you know, if all of a sudden they make this draft, for all you know, 5 years from now, this is a draft that turns them around.
Like I said, this isn't a draft that's going to turn anybody. This isn't a draft.
Look, Ray Lewis was drafted and was a special teams player and turned into what he is. Just because Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick
Yeah, listen, you don't
Nobody
gotta give it
sat
to
there
me.
and looked at Tom Brady and said, you are a future Hall of Fame quarterback.
But they looked at it with Andrew Luck. They looked at it with RG3. They
That's
looked at
awesome.
it long years ago, Peyton Manning. I mean, there are guys you can look at and say they are going to be good on the next level.
Yes, there are a select few guys out there that are. 95% of the guys that are in the NFL right now, though, were not those guys. They were not guys that you looked at and said, you are a sure thing.
Okay, but what I'm saying, though, is what does guaranteeing a higher draft pick guarantee to the Jets? It doesn't guarantee them anything.
And
it doesn't guarantee them good talent.
No, it doesn't, but it doesn't say that they can't get it either. All I'm trying to say is that winning for them right now is irrelevant. They do not have the talent to do anything. This team needs to find talent, and they financially cannot afford to improve in the offseason. They cannot go hit free agency. They don't have the money. They are stuck. If they cut Sanchez, it knocks $17 million off of their cap. $17 million. That's 3 players easily, no matter what they do. Or they keep him and he costs $9 million. One way or another, this guy is going to cost them a chunk of change next year. So they have to build somehow. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is in the draft this year. And I hate to tell Jets fans that, but that's the reality of it.
But having one spot higher in the draft doesn't guarantee you anything. That's what I'm trying to say, is that because they lost this game and they dropped, and now instead of getting the 8th pick, they get the 7th pick or whatever it is, that they're going to be guaranteed. They're still not going to have a top 2 or 3 pick. That's a guarantee.
And I'm not saying that whatever draft picks they take are a guaranteed success. I'm not saying they're a guaranteed bust.
I'm just never for rooting for losses, especially for your own team.
If I'm a Jets fan, I'm rooting for losses.